Hello, I'm Brian McKeon, creator of the Predatory Lender. Now, the World Economic Forum has asked me to submit a video for them, asking these questions. And they asked it to only be 2 minutes long. Now, this is quite a bit shorter than my usual videos. Now, what I normally do is get 20 to 30 minutes of raw footage and edit it down to one 10-minute video. So between now and the time of the conference, I'll be editing this raw footage down for the World Economic Forum.
Now, this is Jarban from the Predatory Lending Network talking to you. Now, the World Economic Forum is meeting this month, and we're talking to folks about how do we increase global efficiency through sustainability of our resources. Now, we're here with Bruce Wayne, or Batman, talking about how do we increase our... Now we're here with Batman. We're talking to him about how do we increase and use our resources more efficiently. Now, how are you at Wayne Tech using your resources more efficiently for people on this world?
Well, I believe in wind energy and stuff like that. Even self-energy for our own houses and stuff. We could do solar and stuff like that for a lot more businesses. Get off of the grid, you know. Even though big companies love us on the grid, I think we could be off of it if we really tried. And we could build gardens within our own homes and stuff like that, on the roofs of rooftops and stuff. You know, all that stuff can be done. It's proven. You know, we can recycle water and stuff for re-irrigation and stuff like that. And I think that's the technology that we need to keep on continuing with.
Now, the other thing that we would like to know is, now with the various efficiencies and, you know, they're not really using energy quite wisely on this planet. Now, how can we make energy use more efficient on this planet?
Ooh, using energy more efficient. That, you know, there's so many ways that we could do that. I mean, right now we're using coal still, and it's a big resource as people are dying inside those mines. And we need to lessen our coal intake and find other ways to use stuff. Using water and stuff as a natural energy, even though that, you know, takes a lot to build a dam and stuff.
Now, one concern that they were having, since you're talking about coal, was all the various levels of pollution. Now, how can we lower our carbon emissions on this planet?
That's through petrol, through the cars and stuff like that. We need to continue to keep on having the big companies make hybrids and stuff, more efficient vehicles that don't release that much carbon out into the air. And they do have the technology to do that, and it can be done. There's lots of different substances that can be used, hydrocarbons, water even, to run vehicles. You know, we could go back to the steam engine again.
Now, once we go back to some of these technologies and stuff, we'll need to build infrastructure for these new technologies. Now, how can we rebuild basic infrastructure?
We already have the structure there. We just need to put it in there. You know, that's the real thing that we need to do. We need to, like, the electric vehicle got taken away basically because they didn't really want to put all the electric stations everywhere. That's why they didn't want to do it, but I think, you know, oil is something that we thrive on. We want the oil really bad for some weird reason, yet we can get off of that oil. We can make oil out of other stuff.
What kind of other stuff would we use?
Well, there's companies that have already made imitation oil and stuff. It's not fully, it's a synthetic oil.
Yeah, and then we probably wouldn't have some of these oil spills and stuff that we've been having.
they can make a synthetic oil now.
So in closing, since this is going to the World Economic Forum and interplanetary leaders throughout the galaxy will be watching this, is there anything that you would like to say to them?
I just hope that you accept the new technologies that are coming in the world. You know, take a look at them. Figure out which ones are going to be something for the future. Don't look just 10 years into the future. Look at 50 to 100 years into the future. Don't look at, you know, just right now. We need to look into our future a lot further, not just for us, but our children and our grandchildren.
So in closing, this is Jarbon from the Predatory Lending Network talking to you. This is Jarbon from the Predatory Lending Network talking to you. Now the World Economic Forum is meeting and they're asking folks about how do we increase global efficiency and global growth through sustainability. Now we're talking to Commander Rex. Was it Captain Rex or Commander Rex? This is Jarbon from the Predatory Lending Network talking to you. Now the World Economic Forum is meeting and they're asking folks, how do we increase global growth through sustainability? Now we're here with Captain Rex from the Stormtroopers asking them, now Captain, how can we manage our resources more efficiently on this planet?
Well, along with reusing your resources and going to green energy, such as solar energy and other energies like that, we also have to invest on this planet in producing stuff that we use less energy and get more out of the product. That's something that we do on the other planets. And that's something that's lacking here.
What kind of things would we be investing in on this planet that we're not on other planets?
Well, scientists for one, scientists who could work on this, they're not backed up enough by the governments. And then you have countries like, you know, third world nations that don't even practice it at all. So we need to help them to learn how to, you know, take care of pollution, lower emissions. Their factories that they have, you know, their factories are causing more of the pollution.
Now, one question that they have on this planet is that some of the countries put a lot of resources in teaching their children about math and science. On other planets, they don't learn about math, or on other countries, they don't teach their students about math and science. Is math and science subjects that all people on this planet should know?
Yes, it is important, but if we don't have a planet, and if we start losing all of our resources, what good is math going to do us? We have to save the planet first. There has to be a planet for those children.
Now, how would we save this world, since you've seen it on other worlds?
Well, a lot of the things that we did is, you know, stop using stuff that isn't needed. You know, change to alternate fuels. That has to be something that has to be looked into. There are alternate fuels out there. There's hydrogen, there's electricity, and not be so dependent on fossil fuel. And then, like I said, that needs to be invested into to find ways to use that. There's a lot of great stuff going on in colleges with younger people that are producing these alternate fuels, these alternate ways of producing energy. They need to be backed up. They need to be sponsored by the government even more.
Okay, now, one of the questions that we have with the carbon fuels is the levels of carbon pollution that they're putting out. Now, what can be done on this planet to lower carbon emissions?
Well, obviously stop using carbon fuel. That's the first thing. But until we get to that, you know, you have to develop other fuels, other sources of energy.
What kind of fuels or energy would those be?
Well, right now I think the most promising is hydrogen, because it's just burning clean water. The only thing is the batteries haven't been developed yet that could be sufficient to it. But I think your future will be hydrogen.
Now, once we have all these new resources out there and developed, how can we build the global infrastructure or interplanetary infrastructure to make these things happen?
Well, that's the thing where the world powers have to go to these other countries that aren't using it and have to help them develop, that they could also turn to it also. It takes a very, very big effort, but it's well worth it to save a planet, because there's nothing worse than when a planet dies. And believe me, I've seen many dead planets.
Now, you would say we did managing our resources and better, and we already answered that, right?
I believe so.
Okay, so in closing, since this is going to the World Economic Forum and interplanetary leaders throughout the galaxy will be seeing this, is there anything that you would like to say to those leaders?
Oh yes, definitely join forces. Stop fighting one another and unite as one to save our planet, our galaxy, our solar system. It all lives off of each other. If one ecosystem dies, it kills everything.
So in closing, this is Jarbon from the Predatory Lending Network talking to you.